The sun rose slowly over the small town where Michael lived. The streets were quiet, and the soft hum of early morning filled the air. Michael, a tall and strong man, moved with calm purpose. He was known in the town for his honesty and quiet strength. People trusted him, not because he demanded respect, but because he always acted with fairness and courage. Michael lived a simple life. His home was modest but clean, and he took pride in keeping things organized. He worked as a mechanic, fixing cars and machines for the townspeople. Every day, he greeted people with a kind smile and a helpful hand. Though he was strong, his strength was not only physical, it was the way he faced problems calmly, helped others without expecting reward, and stood by his word even when it was difficult. Far beyond Earth, in a galaxy that shimmered with stars, lived Queen Alara. She ruled a world of advanced technology and powerful beings. Her people respected her for her wisdom, courage, and vision. But Alara was curious. She had heard stories of humans, creatures of small size, fragile bodies, and simple technology. She wondered how they survived in a world so vast and dangerous. She wanted to see them herself. Alara decided to visit Earth, disguised so her presence would not alarm anyone. She arrived near Michael's town, watching quietly from a distance. She was amazed by the simplicity of life, the green fields, the small houses, and the way people worked together. But more than anything, she wanted to see how humans behaved when faced with real challenges. One morning, as Michael walked to his workshop, a loud crash echoed from the nearby street. Without thinking, he ran toward the sound. A delivery truck had skidded on the wet road and a woman was trapped inside. People were frozen in shock, unsure of what to do. Michael didn't hesitate. He pulled a crowbar from his truck and pried the door open. The woman looked up at him, eyes wide with fear and then relief. Michael helped her out safely, making sure she was unharmed. Unseen, Alara observed. She noted the calm way he acted, the careful precision, and the concern he showed for the woman's safety. She had expected humans to panic, but Michael had handled everything with focus and courage. There was a strength in him she did not anticipate, a mix of bravery, intelligence, and kindness. Days passed, and Michael continued his routine, unaware of the alien observer nearby. Alara followed him quietly, curious about the small gestures that showed his character. She watched him help an elderly man carry groceries, repair a broken fence for a neighbor, and comfort a child who had lost her pet. Each act, though small, spoke volumes about who Michael was. One afternoon, the town announced a public demonstration of new emergency technology. It was part of a government program to prepare for natural disasters. People gathered in the town square, curious and excited. Michael attended, interested in the machines and the safety demonstrations. He moved through the crowd calmly, helping wherever needed. Alara had chosen this moment to reveal herself partially. She appeared in the demonstration area, disguised as a human but radiating a quiet aura of authority. People were intrigued but respectful, sensing something unusual about her presence. Michael noticed her immediately. There was a confidence in her walk, a calmness in her eyes, and a sense of purpose that caught his attention. "Hello," she said, smiling politely. "I am Alara. I am here to observe how humans prepare for emergencies." Her voice was clear and warm, but there was something in it that commanded attention. Michael nodded respectfully. "I'm Michael," he replied. "I work here in the town, helping wherever I can." He extended a hand, not knowing why he felt a strange sense of trust toward this woman. Alara shook it lightly. "I have heard stories about humans. I wanted to see if you are truly as capable as they say." Michael chuckled softly. "We do our best. Sometimes it's not about strength, it's about thinking clearly and helping others." Alara's eyes sparkled. There was wisdom in his words, and she sensed that his strength was deeper than she had imagined. She stayed for the rest of the demonstration, observing how Michael assisted others, explained safety procedures, and calmly handled small emergencies during the practice. As the day ended, Alara approached Michael again. "You have remarkable qualities," she said. "You remain calm under pressure, you think carefully, and you care for others. These are the strengths I have not seen in many humans." Michael felt a little embarrassed. "I just try to do what's right. That's all anyone can do." Alara smiled, but in her heart she realized that Michael's strength was something rare. It was not the power of machines or advanced technology, but the power of character, courage, and kindness. She had come to Earth curious about humans, but now she was fascinated by this man in front of her. The sun was setting, painting the town in golden light. Michael walked home slowly, carrying tools and a sense of fulfillment from helping people. Alara remained in the shadows, watching him, learning from him, and feeling a growing respect that she could not ignore. That night, Michael sat in his small kitchen drinking tea and thinking about the day. He did not know that far away in the stars a queen was observing him, learning about human strength in ways he could never imagine. He only knew that helping others brought him peace, and that doing what is right is its own reward. Alara returned to her ship, recording her observations. She thought about Michael's courage, his kindness, and his calmness under pressure. She began to understand that strength was not just physical. It was moral, emotional, and mental, and she wondered what it would mean if humans like Michael were truly recognized for their abilities. The first meeting between them had passed, but neither would forget it. One had shown extraordinary calm and courage. The other had begun to see humanity in a new light. A connection had been made, quiet but undeniable, like the first spark of a story that would grow and change both their worlds. Next morning, Michael woke to the soft light of dawn streaming through his window. He stretched and took a deep breath, ready for another day of work. Little did he know Alara had decided to follow him again, curious to understand more about this man who had quietly captured her attention. Michael started his day at the workshop, checking the tools and preparing for the jobs ahead. The townspeople trickled in, each bringing a car, a bike, or a small machine that needed fixing. Michael greeted each person with a warm smile, listening carefully to their concerns and explaining how he would solve the problem. There was patience in his movements and a methodical precision that made his work reliable. Alara observed from a distance, hidden by a nearby tree. She could see his strength in action, not the kind measured by muscles, but the kind shown in care, focus, and responsibility. Every time Michael spoke, he listened with genuine attention. Every time he lifted a heavy part or tightened a bolt, he did it efficiently, without rushing and without any sign of frustration. To her, this was human strength in its purest form. Later, Michael walked down the main street to check on an elderly neighbor. Mr. Thompson had asked for help repairing a broken fence that kept his garden safe from wandering animals. Michael rolled up his sleeves and started fixing the posts, measuring carefully, hammering steadily. The sun beat down, but he didn't complain. He worked with steady hands, occasionally wiping sweat from his brow, and talked with Mr. Thompson in a calm, friendly tone. Alara stepped closer, invisible to human eyes. She noted the way Michael moved, how his mind seemed to anticipate each problem and how he treated Mr. Thompson with kindness and respect. "This is remarkable," she whispered to herself. "It is not brute force but patience and care that make him strong." Around midday, a small commotion broke out near the town square. A young boy had climbed onto a tall stack of crates and could not get down. Children had gathered, some crying, others pointing in worry. Michael, already on the street, noticed immediately. Without hesitation, he ran toward the crates, his steps confident but careful. "Stay calm," he said gently to the boy. "I will help you get down safely." His voice was steady, giving the boy courage. Michael climbed carefully, supporting the boy with both hands, speaking in a calm rhythm so the child could focus. Slowly, step by step, he guided the boy down. When they reached the ground, the crowd erupted in quiet relief and applause. The boy hugged Michael tightly, whispering thanks over and over. Alara's eyes widened as she witnessed the scene. She had seen strength in her world and warriors and leaders, but this was different. This strength was humble, protective, and selfless. She realized that humans, though small in appearance, possessed courage and compassion that rivaled the mightiest beings she had known. The day continued with small acts of service. Michael helped a family carry water barrels, assisted a woman who had dropped groceries, and even fixed a broken bike for a little girl who had tears in her eyes. Every act was small, yet each demonstrated patience, intelligence, and concern for others. Alara quietly marveled at how someone could remain so consistent in their goodness. As afternoon came, Alara decided to reveal a little more of herself. She appeared near the town fountain in plain sight, but with a calm, commanding presence that drew attention. The townspeople paused, curious but respectful. Michael, busy helping a man adjust a generator, noticed her immediately. "Michael," Alara called gently, her voice carrying an unfamiliar authority. "I have come to learn more about your people and about you." Michael looked up, surprised but composed. I am happy to help, he said. There is not much to learn. People here try to live honestly, help each other, and do their best every day. Alara stepped closer, observing his every movement. I have seen how you act, she said. Your courage, your calm, your care for others. It is unlike anything I expected. You show real strength, and it is not just physical. You have strength of character. Michael felt a blush of modesty. I just try to do what is right. I don't think of it as strength, Alara smiled. True strength often comes from humility. You do not seek recognition, yet your actions inspire others. For a while they walked together through the town. Michael showed her the small places he had repaired, the people he had helped, and the ways in which life in their town required small, constant effort. Alara listened intently, occasionally asking questions, learning about human emotions, limitations, and creativity. Later they reached a small garden behind Michael's workshop. It was a simple patch of green, yet it thrived because Michael cared for it daily. He showed Alara how he watered the plants, planted seeds, and even rescued a small bird caught in the branches. Alara was amazed at how his attentiveness turned ordinary actions into something extraordinary. You find beauty and purpose in the simplest things, she said softly. Michael nodded. Life is full of small challenges. If we face them carefully, with care for others, we make the world better in little ways. Alara reflected on his words. She had traveled across galaxies, witnessed battles, ruled over armies, and commanded respect through power. Yet she had never seen such simple, steady courage. Michael's life was ordinary on the surface, but each decision, each act of kindness carried weight and strength that could change lives. As evening approached, Alara prepared to leave for the night. I must return, she said, but I will watch again. There is much more to learn, and I am eager to see what comes next. Michael waved goodbye, feeling an unusual sense of connection, though he did not fully understand why. Take care, he said. And remember, strength is in how you treat others, not in what you can control. Alara lingered for a moment, watching him return to his workshop. She felt awe, respect, and a growing curiosity about the depth of human courage. She realized that her journey to understand humans was just beginning, and that Michael's strength would guide her understanding in ways she could not yet imagine. The stars appeared in the sky above, and somewhere beyond the clouds, Alara's ship waited silently. The day had been ordinary for most people in the town, but for her it had been extraordinary. She had seen a human who embodied strength, courage, and kindness, and she knew that this meeting was only the start of something much greater. As Michael closed his workshop door for the night, he felt satisfaction in his simple life. Helping others, facing challenges calmly, and being honest were his ways of living. Little did he know, his life had begun to touch a queen from another world, a being who would come to see his real strength in ways that would leave her in awe. The next day the town was quiet in the morning, with only the soft wind moving through the streets. Michael walked to his workshop as usual, carrying his tools and humming softly. He enjoyed mornings like this, the calm, the simplicity, and the small tasks that gave life meaning. He did not know that today would be different. Alara had returned, observing him from above in her ship. She had spent the night thinking about Michael's character. She realized that his strength was not only in his actions, but in his ability to remain calm and steady no matter the situation. Today, she wanted to see him in a more challenging circumstance, something that would test his courage, intelligence, and care for others all at once. Late in the morning, a sudden emergency shook the town. A small fire started near the edge of the forest, quickly spreading toward a cluster of homes. Smoke rose into the sky and the alarm rang through the streets. People ran in panic, unsure of what to do. Michael heard the shouts and immediately dropped his tools. Without hesitation, he sprinted toward the source of the fire. Alara appeared in the sky, visible this time, though her presence was calm and non-threatening. The townspeople gasped at her sudden appearance, unsure if she was part of the emergency response. Michael, however, kept his focus on the fire. He guided people away from danger, shouting instructions with a calm authority that helped steady their panic. Everyone, stay together. Move slowly and carefully, he called. Take the children and pets first. Keep calm. He ran into the area closest to the fire, pulling a young girl from the path of falling branches. He helped her grandmother, who was trapped behind a low fence, and then carried buckets of water from a nearby stream to control the flames. Every action was calculated, steady, and efficient. Alara watched, amazed. She had seen leaders command armies and warriors fight battles, but she had never witnessed courage like this. Michael did not have advanced weapons or technology, yet he faced danger directly, saving lives with intelligence, strength, and compassion. Suddenly, a burning beam fell near a house, blocking the path of a young boy and his dog. Michael sprinted toward them, dodging the flames and debris. He lifted the beam with all his strength, just enough for the boy to pass through safely, then helped the dog scramble to freedom. His muscles strained, but his focus never wavered. "Come on, you can do it," he shouted encouragingly. The boy ran, eyes wide with both fear and trust. Michael followed closely, ensuring no one was left behind. The townspeople began to follow his lead, inspired by his calm bravery. They formed a chain to pass water and help each other. Michael's quiet example gave them courage, and the fire became more manageable as everyone worked together. Alara's eyes were wide with awe. She had not only expected physical strength but also strategy and moral courage. Michael had both, and he inspired others to act with courage too. She felt a deep respect for him, realizing that true strength often comes from the heart and mind, not just the body. Hours passed, and finally the fire began to die down. Michael was exhausted. His clothes burned at the edges and his hands blistered, but he did not stop until the last flame was under control. He made sure everyone was safe and unharmed, checking on each person before he allowed himself a moment of rest. Alara descended beside him once the danger had passed. The townspeople stepped back, amazed by her calm presence, and whispered among themselves about the mysterious woman who had watched silently and now approached the man who had saved them all. "You have done more than I could have imagined," she said softly. "Your strength is extraordinary, not because you fight, but because you care. You lead not with power, but with courage, patience, and wisdom." Michael shook his head, wiping sweat from his brow. "I just did what anyone should do. People need help, and I cannot just stand and watch. That's all." Alara studied him closely. "You underestimate yourself. Today I have seen your true strength. You faced danger without fear. You saved lives not for praise, but because it was right. That is rare in any world." Michael felt a strange warmth in his chest. He had helped people all his life, but he had never had someone recognize his courage in this way. Most saw only the simple life he lived, not the decisions, the effort, and the care behind each action. Later, as the town began to recover from the fire, Michael walked among the homes, helping rebuild fences, comforting children, and making sure that the frightened families were okay. His presence brought reassurance. People felt safe around him because they could see his calmness and determination. Alara followed quietly, still invisible to others, observing every small detail. She saw the way he listened to frightened voices, how he encouraged the helpers, and how he never allowed fear to control him. She realized that this was the kind of strength that built communities, saved lives, and inspired others. By evening, the town square was calm again. Michael sat on a low wall, tired but content. The smoke had cleared and the people were beginning to smile again, grateful for his help. Alara approached him, now visible, and the townspeople froze. "Unsure of what to expect, Michael," she said, her voice calm but filled with admiration. "Today you showed me something I never understood about humans. You showed me courage, strength, and care all at once. You lead not by power but by example. I am in awe of you." Michael looked at her, slightly surprised but calm. "I just did what needed to be done. People are worth it, that's all." Alara smiled, her eyes shining with respect. "This is the beginning of understanding each other. I have much to learn from you and from humans like you. Today I saw what words cannot describe, the true power of humanity." As the sun set, casting long shadows over the town, Michael felt a quiet satisfaction. He had faced a real challenge, protected those around him, and acted without thought for reward. Alara, watching from nearby, felt awe and admiration. She realized that human strength was deeper and more remarkable than she had ever imagined. The bond between them had grown, not through words or gifts, but through action, courage, and shared purpose. Michael had faced the first true test of his strength, and Alara had witnessed it firsthand. Neither knew what the future held, but both understood that this moment would change the way they saw each other and the world itself. The night was quiet over the town. The smoke from the fire had cleared, leaving a fresh scent in the air and the soft glow of lanterns lighting the streets. Michael sat outside his workshop, resting on a wooden bench. His clothes were slightly burned, his hands marked with soot, but his eyes held a calm satisfaction. He had done what he could, and now the town was safe. Above, Alara hovered silently in her ship, looking down. She had spent the evening observing Michael, watching the way he moved, how he spoke with kindness, and how he cared for the smallest details in his work. She thought about the fire, how he had faced danger without fear, and how he had inspired others simply by being steady and brave. She realized that human strength was unlike anything she had seen in her galaxy. Alara decided it was time to speak with him more personally. She descended quietly, approaching the bench where Michael sat. He looked up as she appeared before him, her presence calm and unthreatening. Even after witnessing so much, he felt a strange mix of curiosity and respect for this woman. "You have done much today," Alara said softly, her voice carrying a gentle authority. "I have watched you, and I have learned more than I expected. Your courage, your care, it is extraordinary." Michael shook his head, a small smile on his face. "I just do what anyone should do. People need help, and I can't just watch them suffer, that's all." Alara studied him carefully. "You underestimate yourself. The way you act, the way you stay calm and guide others, it is a rare gift. I have seen strength in many forms, but your kind is unique. It comes from the heart, not from power or fear." Michael felt a warmth at her words. Few people had ever recognized his efforts in this way. "I never thought of it like that," he admitted. "I just try to be helpful and honest. If I do that, I feel like I am doing something right." Alara smiled, a quiet admiration in her eyes. "You are doing more than right. You inspire others. You lead not by command, but by example. That is true strength." For a while they sat together in silence. Michael watched the stars begin to appear in the sky one by one, and Alara observed his calm expression. There was a simplicity and honesty in him that made her reflect on her own world. In her galaxy, power and status were often the most important, but here was a being who held respect not by force, but by integrity. "You see, Michael," she said after a moment, "I came to Earth thinking humans were simple, limited, and weak. But I have learned that strength takes many forms. It is in the way you face fear, in the care you show others, and in the patience you carry every day." Michael looked at her thoughtfully. Maybe strength isn't just about fighting or winning. Maybe it's about being steady, helping others, and doing what's right even when it's hard. Alara nodded. "Exactly. Today you showed me that humans can be brave, kind, and smart all at once. You faced danger without hesitation. You helped people without thinking of reward. That is something I will never forget." Michael leaned back on the bench, feeling a quiet satisfaction. "I don't need recognition," he said. "Helping others feels enough for me. It's what keeps me going." Alara studied him again, realizing that this humility was another form of strength. She had seen leaders in her world crave praise and control. Yet here was someone who acted from the goodness in his heart. "It was inspiring, Michael," she said softly. "I have come to respect you deeply, not just for what you do, but for who you are. Your strength is more than physical. It is moral, emotional, and true. You make those around you stronger, braver, and better." Michael felt a warmth he had not experienced before. He was not used to such praise, especially from someone so powerful and wise. "I thank you," he said simply. "That means a lot." Alara smiled, a soft light reflecting in her eyes. "I want to learn more from you, Michael. To understand humanity, to see the ways you find courage in everyday life. There is much wisdom here, and I want to see it fully." They spent the next hour walking through the quiet town. Michael showed her the small places he had helped repair after the fire, the gardens he tended, and the homes he had checked to make sure everyone was safe. Alara noticed the care in his actions, the thoughtfulness in every step, and the gentle way he interacted with the townspeople who had begun to look up to him with admiration. "You see," Michael said, "it's not about doing something big every day. It's about the small things. Helping a neighbor, calming a frightened child, fixing what is broken. Each act matters." Alara nodded. "I understand now. Strength is not always about grand gestures or battles. It is in the quiet, steady acts of courage and care. You embody that perfectly." As night deepened, they stopped near the small river that ran through the town. The water reflected the stars, creating a mirror of light that shimmered with gentle movement. Michael sat on a rock by the river, and Alara stood beside him, her presence calm and comforting. "I never expected to find someone like you," Alara said softly. "You have taught me more in these few days than I could have imagined. Humans are not simple. They are capable of extraordinary courage and kindness, and you are extraordinary among them." Michael looked at her with quiet humility. I'm just doing what I can. Anyone would do the same if they could. I'm not special. I just try to be helpful. Alara shook her head gently. You are special, Michael. Not because of what you can lift or how fast you move, but because of your heart. You face challenges without fear, help without expectation, and inspire without trying. That is the rarest strength of all. The night air was calm, and for a moment they simply watched the stars together. A quiet understanding had formed between them, built not on words alone but on actions, courage, and respect. Both realized that this connection would change them, her view of humanity and his understanding of what true admiration could feel like. Finally, Alara spoke. Michael, I will continue to learn from you. I want to see how far your courage, patience, and kindness can go. There is more to come, and I believe together we can understand what humans are truly capable of. Michael nodded, feeling a quiet excitement he had never known. I'll do what I can, he said. I don't know what comes next, but I'll face it. Alara smiled, a soft glow surrounding her. That is all anyone can ask. You have already shown me greatness, Michael, and I am honored to witness it. As the night deepened and the stars shone brighter, both felt the unspoken promise of what lay ahead. The bond between them had grown stronger, built on courage, respect, and admiration. The alien queen had seen the real strength of humanity through Michael's actions, and Michael had begun to realize that his simple, honest life held the power to inspire even the most powerful being in the galaxy. The morning sun painted the town in shades of gold and orange. Birds chirped in the distance, and a gentle breeze rustled the leaves of the trees. Michael woke early as usual, preparing for another day at his workshop. His hands were still a little sore from the fire, but his spirit was strong. He felt the quiet satisfaction of knowing he had helped his community. Far above, Alara's ship hovered silently. She had spent the night reflecting on the events of the past days. Michael's courage, patience, and kindness had left a deep impression on her. She had observed his actions, his humility, and his quiet strength, and she realized that she had never seen anyone like him before. Today, she felt it was time to meet him openly and acknowledge what she truly felt. As Michael walked toward the workshop, he noticed a soft shimmer in the sky. Alara descended slowly, landing gracefully in the open field nearby. Her presence was calm, radiant, and commanding without being frightening. The townspeople paused, watching with awe as the queen from another world stood before them. Michael stopped, taking a step closer. Alara, he said with a calm smile. You're here again, Alara nodded. Yes, Michael. I wanted to be here today, not just as an observer, but to speak with you directly. I have seen your courage, your care for others, and your quiet strength. I cannot keep silent any longer. Michael looked at her with humility. I've only tried to help where I can. That's all anyone can do. Alara stepped closer, her eyes shining with admiration. You do not understand. What you have done, what you are. It is extraordinary. Your actions have saved lives, inspired others, and shown me that humans have strength far beyond what I imagined. I am in awe of you. Michael felt a warmth in his chest. He had always believed in helping others, but no one had ever described his actions in such words. I don't know what to say, he admitted softly. I just do what feels right. Alara smiled gently. And that is why your strength is real. It comes from honesty, courage, and care, not from power or fear. You lead by example, and you make everyone around you better. The townspeople began to gather at a safe distance, whispering among themselves. Some were still in awe of the mysterious queen, while others had grown to admire Michael even more for the courage he had shown during the fire. They watched quietly, sensing the importance of this moment. Alara turned her gaze fully toward Michael. I came to Earth thinking humans were simple and limited, but I have learned that strength comes in many forms. Today I wish to honor you, not as a ruler, not as a stranger, but as someone who has earned my respect and admiration. Michael's heart raced slightly, but he remained composed. I am just a man trying to do the right thing, he said. I never expected this. You deserve it, Alara said. You have shown that true strength is not in weapons or technology, but in courage, kindness, and humility. You have taught me more about humanity than I could have learned from any report or observation, and I want the world to know what I have seen. Michael felt a quiet pride, not for himself but for the simple truth that helping others and acting with integrity could be recognized across worlds. Thank you, Alara, he said softly. That means more than you know. Alara stepped closer and lowered her voice. Michael, I have watched you for days. I have seen how you inspire people, how you act without fear, and how you care deeply. You are extraordinary, and I want to be near you, not just as an observer, but as someone who respects and admires you completely. Michael looked at her, realizing the depth of her words. He felt a connection he could not explain. I would be honored, he said simply. Alara smiled, and in that moment the bond between them became undeniable. It was not just admiration or respect, it was a recognition of courage, character, and the strength of spirit that had grown through shared experiences and quiet observation. The townspeople slowly approached, no longer afraid. They saw Michael and Alara standing together and felt the warmth of respect, courage, and trust emanating from them both. It was a quiet celebration of strength, not through battle but through care and bravery. Michael spent the day showing Alara the town, introducing her to the people he had helped. She observed how he interacted with everyone, patient, kind, humble. She watched how people looked at him with trust and admiration. And she realized that the true power of humanity was not in grand displays, but in small, consistent acts of courage and care. As the sun began to set, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink, Alara and Michael stood on a hill overlooking the town. The wind was gentle, carrying the scent of flowers and earth. Alara turned to him, her eyes filled with quiet awe. Michael, I came to Earth to observe humans, she said, but I have learned more than I could have imagined. You have shown me real strength, and I cannot help but be amazed. I will carry this lesson wherever I go, and I will honor you always. Michael smiled softly, feeling a sense of calm and purpose. I never expected to teach anyone anything, he said. I just live my life the best I can. But I am glad that it has mattered. Alara extended her hand, a gesture of trust, respect, and connection. Michael took it without hesitation, feeling the warmth and sincerity of her presence. In that simple act, both understood that worlds could connect through understanding, respect, and courage. The stars began to appear above them, bright and clear. Alara looked at them, then at Michael. I have seen courage, patience, and kindness in you, she said. You have shown me what true strength really is, and I will never forget it. Michael nodded, feeling a quiet joy. And I will continue to do what I can. That is all I have ever wanted. As the night deepened, they stood together, looking over the town they had both come to care for in their own ways. Alara felt awe, respect, and admiration, not just for Michael, but for humanity itself. Michael felt the quiet happiness of knowing that his actions mattered, not just to his town, but to someone from a world far beyond his own. In that moment, a bond was sealed. It was not built on power, wealth, or titles, but on courage, humility, and the ability to inspire through simple, steadfast actions. Michael had shown his real strength, and the alien queen could only stare in awe. The night air was calm, the stars shining brightly above, and a new understanding had formed between them. Two worlds, different in every way, were connected through respect, admiration, and the quiet power of true strength. And as they stood together, both knew that this was only the beginning of a remarkable journey, one that would honor courage, kindness, and the extraordinary power of a good heart.